so that one is that I've said in other videos, and I was actually so I pointed out the paradox between the connection and the bond between lack of experience and experience, corruption and innocence as being maybe a more deep paradox that's profound and is maybe more so of a bond, if not the bond par excellence. What is a deeper bond between that between a child and a parent? Yet what has experienced more corruption and suffering so as to become corrupt, whether having chosen to or having chosen for them by circumstance, is an adult human being, a parent. And then the counterpart, the opposite, what is more inexperienced and thereby innocent and juvenile and enlightening for being such, is a child. That what's more so unique about a child than being simply innocent in itself and being thereby free of error or free of wrongdoing is not what's actually so profound about a child. According to the author Osho, what's profound is how congruent they are. A child is congruent. A child is honest. That would actually seem, that's what makes them appear juvenile and somewhat be juvenile for being able to exist that way in a reality such as we have. But what's more significant than good or bad, right or wrong, is authenticity. Authenticity is, and that actually might be the resolution of the paradox between innocence and corruption, inexperience and experience, is where that overlaps in terms of honesty. Because to be honest is one of the most juvenile and naive things a person can do. The most innocent thing a person can do is to be honest. However, what is more brutal than being honest? Man, I'm just gonna tell you straight up, man. I'm not even gonna lie, man. Da 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 da. That can be the most brutal thing in itself. So the most kind thing and the most brutal thing, the most innocent thing and the most wicked thing, can also, not wicked, but just the most hurtful, the most innocent thing and the most hurtful thing can both overlap in honesty. And then so I was pointing that out as a paradox, and then uh, but I was going somewhere with that. Um, but I guess and so symmetry and congruence is where things like overlap and are resolved, and so numbers is a lot of that. And then I was saying that some of what has I had something cool I wanted to say with that, but I'm a little bit losing the train of thought with that. Is that so um I've talked a little bit about like actual my understanding of mathematics, not making it past the book Pre-Algebra for Dummies by Mark Zarelli, written in 2014-15. But then with that is, so I'm saying that what I can appreciate by reading his work, and the only real thing that I'm saying with this video is that one is that number in and of itself is useful, probably mostly so because it's agreed upon, and that it is a function of symmetry and expression within an expression and value, and then expression within all that and value within all that and symmetry with all that redoubling as a yet another unique triad and trinity, as it were. And then and then so but that, so one is it's open to interpretation even as exact as it would seem, and that might be exactly the shortcoming of mathematics in education, which is that most people that don't successfully make it through education in as can be appreciated by the status quo, or people where education stops being fun. Where did it stop being fun? It stopped becoming fun either where mathematics became overbearing, where it was presented as decided for, and now you as an learning, open-minded human being are being presented with something that's been decided for you. It has a decided reality, and you must appreciate it in that term to be appreciated within the context of social reality, status quo that you're being reared for in the education system, no less than while you're still in the education system. However, you as a being understand yourself and anything to be open-minded to interpretation, as is your prerogative, as is these very numbers, which are yours as a member of prerogative of this experience, to be or not be anything to you. And whether that you can come into that and enjoy that might be your success in what becomes mathematics, and then different outcomes and opportunities in educations, not necessarily limited to mathematics, but the different matriculation and venues are limited by mathematics, or the counterpoint where education is derailed at that point. And it's actually because you being open-minded and creative were presented with something that is also open-minded and creative, but you're presented with it as though it were arbitrary and settled and decided, and that might be some of the dilemma. But that's also what is yet redeeming within mathematics proper, and crushing within mathematics proper is there is that license. The most license, the attaining of most licenses is attended by numbers of some kind, and most numbers in this kind can be attained. Can different forms of activity can be can be different things can be different opportunities can be realized by mathematics, and opportunities can also be created with mathematics. And part of that is that it is an interplay between expression, value, and symmetry that is malleable and creative, and is not undefined and unlimited. Even as this reality is, so is concept in mathematics par excellence. Concept par excellence is yet free and undefined fundamentally to my taste. But to present it as though it were not, while actually understanding that it is, or even not understanding that it is, lends itself to further brutalities, as when people are having numbers run on them. And I think that most forms of violence and dishonesty and depriving people of health and property involve numbers, or had been facilitated by some interplay of numbers and the expression of numbers in a disingenuous way, but not necessarily not effective way. And so when I was talking about how so you have this neoteny of a military combatant running up and down a field with a deadly weapon, and they're both naive for being like that, and also very seasoned and corrupt for being like that. And then what may have gotten a person into that situation, or on the other end of that situation, might have been part of numbers again. So that's why I'm saying that numbers are the expression of numbers can amount to almost anything sublime or heinous. But then, so that might be a lot of what we appreciate as being the wicked, the wicked of the wicked, the boss of the wicked West probably paid her in denominations of the number 6, and then but the number 6 but what I wanted to say is that I can't, I'm running out of time on this one, but digits in themselves historically have more meaning than we can appreciate, and that I can put in a simple title. The closest understanding a person can get that in one go would be to read the book the Wu Manual by RZA, and he talks about the understanding of the nations of gods and earths in New York. And I won't go deeply into that, but that there are people who recognize that we are yet the earth, and we are yet what had been called awesome and sublime is as much within us, through us, and beyond us at once. And from that point, a human being and a group of human beings can be referred to as a nation of gods and earth. And somewhere in there, RZA references understandings of digits going back to, like, I don't know if this is going to like the areas of the Hindu, where actually our Hindu Arabic numeral system has emanated from. The numbers were appreciated as sublime in themselves, as collectively. So like your number, from some standpoints, the number 1 would correspond to knowledge, the first duty of a man. 2 would amount to wisdom, that is synonymous with woman. Women are synonymous with wisdom, and that's the second duty of a man. And then that they together create understanding, which can also be appreciated as child in the number 3. And then do you have 1, 2, 3, the fundamental unit, the fundamental trinity, the trinity par excellence. Excellence par excellence is man, woman, and child. Then there's other dimensions with 4. From that venue, I think that 4 is appreciated as either 4 or 5. It has to do with community, but even 4 is significant in the teachings of Bharata in India. 4 is a profound, very whole, balanced number. But what I think that 4 is it might be the first expression of time, because all things are rhythm. But so far, you only in the simplest rhythm would be like the symmetry and the rhythm of 1, 2. But then you add a second 1, 2, a second symmetry upon symmetry, and now you have counterpoint, and now you therefore have timing, and now you therefore have music, and then you there have all the things that come out of that is the number 4. The number 7 is no less excellent and outstanding, is a divine number in many contexts. There's 7 notes in the musical scale, 7 colors in the rainbow. That's pointed out in that book. The number 9 is synonymous with birth, human childbirth, but also the number 6 is synonymous with a human being, and a human being can be appreciated in the most simple terms, with the 6 being leg, arm, head. Torso is the number 6, and that's the number of man. All the beautiful things that a man can do with numbers, for better and for worse, is man, is 666, and is and that is pure devilry, and that is also pure beauty in what can be appreciated as devilish, be it art, commerce, music, soothsaying, which is also art. All that can be appreciated as the 6, and so the devil and maybe the redemption could be 666 in that sense, is what I'm